Hi, my name is Katie with St. Mary's County Libraries, and for this episode of YA First Chapter Friday, we will be reading The Project by Courtney Summers. 1998. She's at Mrs. Ruthie's house eating one of Mrs. Ruthie's peanut butter cookies, staring out of Mrs. Ruthie's living room window and waiting for her parents to come home. From here, Bee can see her house, with all its lights off and the front door locked. The wooden swing hanging from the tree in the front yard rocks idly in the summer breeze. The driveway is empty. All of this makes her stomach hurt, but not enough to abandon the cookie. So yummy and so soft. She wants to be where the action is. At least, that's what she heard her father say when he left her with Mrs. Ruthie. Bee made it no easy feat, screaming and clutching at his legs, a wild thing, while Mrs. Ruthie watched, aghast. She was very relieved when the tantrum de-escalated into woeful sniffles, and that was when the peanut butter cookies appeared. Her father kneeled in front of Bee and gave her a kiss. "I'd take you if I could, Buzz," one of his many nicknames for her. Bee, Busy Bee, Buzz. She awaited a promise. "Mom and I will tuck you in it tonight." But he made none. He was going to the hospital. A little sister was waiting there, much earlier than expected. There was supposed to be one more calendar picture to go. Bee is 6 years old enough to know what a big sister is. Her best friend Ellen is a big sister, and she's seen plenty of them on TV. She understands it means that she came first, and if being a big sister were only that, it would be easy enough. But there's something else about it that feels harder to accept. She sees Ellen and those girls on TV as slightly outside the spotlight, little more than an afterthought. Bee doesn't want to be a big sister. She's been the one most loved by her parents and always wants to be the one her parents love the most. She spends an uncomfortable night in Mrs. Ruthie's guest room. Mrs. Ruthie doesn't know how to say goodnight to her like her parents do, and the next morning when her father comes to pick her up, tired and strained, Bee hits him in the side like she did when she was 3, and he was saying something she didn't want to hear. He holds her wrist gently in his hands and says, "We don't hit people, Bee. You know that." She starts to cry. He lets go of her wrists and just holds her. Asks her what the matter is. "You left me with Mrs. Ruthie and you forgot my bear, and I don't want a sister," is what she wants to say, but doesn't. He thanks Mrs. Ruthie and carries Bee back to the house. When he lets her down at the threshold, she runs to the baby's room, and there's no baby there, and she's very relieved. She calls for her mother, but her mother isn't there either. They're at the hospital, Dad tells her, where the action is. They meet Mom in the waiting room, and Bee is confused because she still looks like she has a baby in her. Mom gives Busy Bee a hug and waits for Bee to say something honey sweet, but Bee can't. "Let's go see your new sister," her mother finally says, and Bee yells, "I don't want a sister," and sits on the floor with her arms crossed and her lips jutted out. Her parents exchange helpless looks over her head. Dad finally picks her up, but Bee wants to be carried by Mom. Mom can't carry her because she's sore and stitched up from birth. Just one more reason to hate the new baby. They keep her sister in a special place. At least that's how her parents describe it to her. "It's because she couldn't wait to get here and see you," they say. Sure. When Bee thinks special, she thinks of things that are pretty, pastel and glitter adorned, but the room her parents lead her into after she washes her hands is cold and scary. They take her to see through a box, and inside it is a little baby, tubes sticking all in and out of her, up her nose, kept in place by tape that barely seems able to hug newborn skin. It's so upsetting, Bee starts to cry. "It'll be hard having a new baby," Mom tells her when they're in the family area, which cannot disguise the hospital of itself. They sit on a threadbare couch, Bee tucked against her mother's side, her head resting against her mother's swollen breasts. "It'll be hard, you having a sister." Bee doesn't want to hear this. She wants to hear that it will be easy, and nothing will change. I hope, Mom continues, you'll still have room to love your father and me. A question forms in Bee's eyes, and her mother explains how different it is, the connection between siblings. It's not like what Bee has with Mom and Dad. Having a sister, Mom says, is a place only the two of them will share, made of secrets they never have to say aloud. But if they did, it would be in a language only the two of them could speak. Having a sister is a promise no one but the two of you can make, and no one but the two of you can break. When they go back to the cold and scary room, Bee studies the baby. She's so tiny and new. The baby seems to sense family near, her impossibly small limbs twitching a little in their direction. Mom and baby each have a hand on either side of Bee's shoulders. Her father asks if Bee would like to name the baby. Bee wonders for a long time if she wants to, when suddenly a name finds her like lightning, in a voice that isn't her own, as if it came from that place her mother just told her about, spun of secrets yet to be shared, the beginning of a language only the two of them can speak. A promise. 2011. Bee stands over the body of her little sister. Tubes run everywhere in and out of her, kept in place by flimsy hospital tape and tethered to machines whose rhythmic, persistent noises offer the only proof of life. A ventilator helps her breathe. Breathes for her. Bee corrects herself. Because Lo is not breathing on her own. The parts of Lo that are visible beneath all of the hospital's trappings look like bruised fruit, but the kind you throw away, the kind you can't even cut open to find pieces to save. Bee reaches out, letting her palm hover over the top of Lo's hand. She's afraid to touch her, afraid any contact she makes will disturb Lo's tenuous connection to life. And you are not allowed to die. She was at the movies with Grace and Keller when it happened. The Thing. She's not sure what part of the movie was on when the semi crashed into her parents' SUV, killing them both on impact, and she doesn't know if the credits were rolling by the time they got to the jaws of life to pull Lo from the wreckage. She turned her phone off, as the theater so kindly asked everyone to do, and forgot to turn it back on again. On the walk home, close to midnight, she thought it was strange her parents hadn't texted her. Sure, she was older than having a curfew, so it was nothing they had to do, but Bee likes to be where the action is, and now more than it ever used to, that makes Mom and Dad worry. Then she reached the house and the driveway was empty. The front door was locked and the lights were off. She buried her parents alone because it couldn't wait. She hoped she did it well enough. Mrs. Ruthie was a big help, and now she's spending her days trying to track down their great Aunt Patty, the only living relative Bee and Lo have on their dead mother's side. They've never met, but Patty should probably know this happened. There's so much wrong with Lo now that what the accident did isn't going to be what kills her. It's the infection she's gotten since. The doctors have met it with every antibiotic they have, and Lo is full of so much fluids, her fingers and arms and feet and face swell. Today, when Bee steps into the hospital, a nurse tells her to stay the night if she can stand it. Bee can't stand it. Stay anyway, the nurse tells her. Lo was a strange kid, her whole childhood foreign to Bee, lacking all the magical impulses of her own. Bee ran toward the world without looking back, and Lo couldn't seem to head in any direction without the assurance of a point of return. When she was 6, Lo would wake up in the night crying with her sheets soaked through and go to Bee about it, never Mom or Dad. She always looked so pitiful, Bee couldn't be mad. I had a nightmare, Lo would say in one breath, while begging Bee not to tell anyone she'd wet the bed in the next. Bee didn't have the heart to tell Lo what Mom and Dad knew. Who else was doing the laundry? Still, they'd change the sheets together and clean Lo up, and Bee would tuck her back into bed, trying, unsuccessfully, to get to the root of whatever terrified her sister awake so she could make it stop. One night after Bee put her to bed, Lo looked at Bee with wide eyes and asked if she was ever afraid of all the things she didn't know could happen to her. Bee told Lo no. She only believed in things she could see. Lo wants to be a writer. Bee is tormented by all the stories her sister will never get the chance to tell. Bee goes to the hospital chapel where no one is. The journey comprised of one halting step in front of the other until it comes to an end. She collapsed in front of the altar and the cross, pulled down by the weight of her grief, and she weeps. "I'll do anything," she says to the ground, because she doesn't know where else to look. "I'll do anything." She lies down right there, her eyes bloodshot, her cheeks slick with tears, the skin around her lips and nose breaking away from her, rubbed raw and sore. "God," she whispers, and it's all she whispers over and over and over again. "God, I'll do anything. Please, God." And then he appears. If you'd like to read more of The Project by Courtney Summers, find it in the catalog at www.stmalid.org. Thank you and have a great day.